Hey, welcome to Late Night with Larry. I'm your host, Larry D. And tonight I'm here with my co-host, Vince. Vince, give him a shout out.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Here we are again.
So tonight we are going to talk about the Sasquatch subject once again. Only this time we want to divulge into the topic of Sasquatch and the supernatural.
Yes, that's... and it's funny, we get our topics, what to talk about, because when we're not recording, it's what we talk about amongst ourselves. So we're like, hey, let's just record it.
That's right.
But anyway, before we start, I'm going to have a drink. How about you?
Go ahead, yeah. I popped my Merlot the Magician. I got a glass of Merlot right in front of me. And tonight it's not barefoot wine because they haven't sent us any sponsorship, so it's Big Sipper wine tonight.
Oh, Big Sipper. I'm back with trusty old Coors Light. And the first drink is for Tammy. She's not a Coors Light fan, so I'm like, here you go, Tammy. Coors Light, that's where it's at.
That's right. Just keep listening, Tammy. So, I'll go ahead and start us off. So, as we were talking off the air, there's theories out there that Sasquatch has supernatural capabilities.
Yes. Now, we were talking about that, and of course, there's just so much we don't know. But that theory right now is kind of hard for us to swallow.
It is because I do believe that Sasquatch is a flesh and blood creature, but like we were talking about, we don't know everything about this creature. We don't know what it could do. We don't know what it possesses, what powers it possesses. So we're going to have to go on theory and belief, I suppose.
Right. And actually, I think we know so little about Sasquatch. And these so-called Sasquatch hunters, these experts, it's all theory.
It really is. There's not, let me put it this way. All the books written, all the sightings seen, everyone out there who has their theory and their sightings and their stories of Sasquatch, no one is a definitive expert. And I say that because no one has captured one, no one has questioned one, no one has studied one.
Yes.
Unless the government truly has one and they've studied it. And if they have, they're not going to release it to us.
No, they won't. They should, but at least to you and I.
Right. They should.
Yes. Now, getting back to the subject, we're talking about how anything's possible because you hear people tracking them, the tracks will disappear, or people have sightings and some people say they disappear like smoke.
Right. And like we were talking earlier, I've been I read the whole damn book last night, and it was an easy, quick read, and it was Sasquatch stories. And in one of the stories, I was telling my brother here that the person who saw the Sasquatch, he said he was seeing it 1 minute, saw it in front of him face to face, within a blink of an eye, it just disappeared. Now,
right.
How is that possible?
When in my opinion, when you have a sighting like that, it's just like any other thing. I mean, you're going to get scared. When you get scared, you have any kind of event that raises your blood pressure and scares you. It'll just be a few seconds, but it seems like an eternity. So, and if these creatures are as fast as people say they are, they could disappear in thick woods like nothing.
Yeah, I get that. But so many people have said that within a blink of an eye, I mean, they're gone. I mean, don't you think we have our peripheral vision, everything? Don't you think you would see it, like, even if you turn sideways, or you would see it make a maneuver and disappear?
On the other hand, yeah, you're right. But on the other hand, if you're truly that scared, if it scares you like people say, fear could blind you also, where you're like, even if you see something, maybe your memory suppresses certain things, so it's like you didn't see it leave.
Yeah, I'll buy that theory because, many people that have been in car accidents or traumatized events have said, I didn't remember what occurred.
Right. I'll give you an example, and I don't really like to bring this up, but when our father passed away, one of my friends talked to me because his mother passed away just before that, and he told me it'll be the most unreal experience of your life because people will come, whatever, and you won't even know who's there and who wasn't.
And they're right.
Yeah, because I don't remember.
I don't either. I know who was there initially when he passed. I know who was there at the hospital when he passed. But
right.
Other than
but as far as people coming to visit and stuff,
I don't.
Right. Neither do I.
I don't. And on back to the subject. So we're talking about how people have tracked Sasquatch. They've seen them, and then all of a sudden they dart into the woods and they go their way. And these people have tracked them, and especially in snow, and they follow the tracks. Here we go. Track after track after track, and the tracks have a big gate, long spreads, and then all of a sudden you come onto the tracks and they're gone.
Yeah.
And they search around the area and there's no more tracks.
Now, if we're talking about they're related to great apes, now, just me thinking out loud here.
The trees.
I
saw where you were going with that, but still, these people and people have said we looked everywhere, up, down, around, everywhere, and they're gone.
But no, like monkeys, they could treat a tree.
I suppose that's a possibility.
And with the strength and the quickness, you know how they supposedly move on the ground, either on all fours or on two? Who says they can't just jump from tree to tree?
They can. And people have seen them on the ground jump from maybe like in 20 feet distances or more. They said that their athletic ability is unreal.
Right. So, and they must climb the trees because where else would that strength come from? If you don't use your muscles, you're not going to develop them.
That's right. Of course. So maybe they are tree dwellers and they do.
Now, I've heard stories on, I don't know if it was PacWest Bigfoot or another channel I listened to on YouTube, but a hunter came across two in trees.
I believe that. And let me take you back to something I saw recently on some of the Bigfoot posts that I monitor. There was a horse caucus up high in a tree, and they were saying, how did that horse get up there?
Right.
A mountain lion is strong, but not that strong.
No.
A mountain lion would take an animal its size or maybe a little more, and it could put it up in a tree, but not that high and not that big.
No. And yeah, I don't believe that a mountain lion had it done or nothing, but to go back, I'm sure you've seen this video. It was they showed a Sasquatch walking in the distance, or was supposed to be a Sasquatch, and he had a juvenile. And when he passed by a tree, the juvenile grabbed the limb, and swinging in the trees, playing around like.
Yeah, I remember that video.
Yeah, but now does that solve the question of being in the paranormal or extraterrestrial realm or whatever?
Multidimensional.
Right.
See, and that's the question that's puzzling. Now, people have said that they've witnessed Bigfoot's entering portals.
Yes.
So that could blow the tree theory out of the water.
Right. Now, there's a channel I follow on YouTube. It's called Team Sasquatch USA, I believe. And Dr. Johnson, or they call him Dr. J, he's a full-fledged doctor. And he's written a book, and he swears with his own eyes he saw a portal.
Well, I'm not going to call him a liar.
No, absolutely
because then
not.
we'd be calling all our people that say they've seen Sasquatch, Bigfoot, Yeti, whatever we want to call them, we'd be calling them all a liar.
Right.
Is it possible? Anything's possible.
Yes.
Has it happened? We don't know. We haven't witnessed it.
We haven't witnessed it, but like I said, there's just so much, like we were talking about earlier, that we don't know about. our universe, our world, all the animals in it.
Yeah, it's full of mystery, and as each day goes by, little by little may get revealed to us, and sometimes none at all.
Right.
And I believe these creatures are part of that.
Right. Now, on that Sasquatch, Team Sasquatch USA, he has what he calls a habituation site.
Right.
Where they go in and the Sasquatch get habituated. They're used to them being there, and they come in closer. They start trusting them.
Right.
So he will actually take people, and he posts witness testimonies. And one of the things he says is they do have the ability to cloak. And one example they give is they'll be there and they go black, no fire, no nothing.
Right.
And they were laying there on their cots, and it was raining one night, and somebody said somebody lifted their sleeping bag over them to keep them warm.
Right.
Another person said, I could feel like I have a bad back. I could feel it being massaged.
Right.
I mean, to me, that's a little far, but I don't know what what they could do. So
well, and there we go back to what type of Squatch was it? You
right.
know? What Squatch is going to massage your back? What Squatch is going to cover you? You know, I would say that those were probably female Squatches.
With the mother instinct.
Right. I would say that.
But then again, like we were talking about the big thicket, how they might be cut off from the other ones. So you could have, like, say, just for instance, some of them have moved on further.
Right.
And others are kind of stuck.
And I could see why that would piss those ones off. Okay, now let's get back to the subject of the paranormal. Now, I'm going to say a theory that I heard. Maybe I shouldn't name the person who it came from, but if you've done your Sasquatch research, you'll know exactly who it came from. This man believes that the Sasquatch possesses partially ape, human, and angel DNA. Now, people are going to say, especially if you're a Christian, you're going to say right there, you're going to say, you're full of shit. I don't believe you. But if you take it back to Genesis 6, and if you believe in the Bible, Genesis 6 definitely says that the angels came down and took the daughters of men for their wives.
Yes.
Now, that's another mystery, but we'll get to that later. So, if these are true hybrids of that, what kind of supernatural powers would they have? Exactly. They could disappear, appear. They could even interdimensional capabilities, you know. That made me really think hard about. I was like, wow, that takes it back to the Nephilim, which would be another podcast. But I'm like, if that were true, because supposedly in that time these angels taught all this corrupt stuff. They corrupted everything on earth. That's why the flood came. Right. So, yeah, they could possibly be a hybrid species.
Right. And like I said, there's just so much we don't know.
And we may never know, but we're sure as hell trying to find out.
We want answers, damn it. We want them now.
That's right. So it goes back to what kind of powers do they possess? Yes. Now, we were talking earlier, and I told my brother, the Native Americans truly believe, and they left them alone as long as they left the tribes alone. They wouldn't go to war with them. They wouldn't conflict with them. You go your way, and they called them brothers of the forest, guardians of the forest. But the native tribes all say they possessed supernatural powers.
Yes. Now, the theory you just spoke of with the fallen angels and, you know, breeding with the ladies here and them, that's one theory. Another theory is the extraterrestrial theory.
There we go, yes.
That maybe they're from outer space, from another dimension. And we're talking, and you know, if they're from a advanced civilization, why are they running around naked and hairy? And I suggest, you know, what if it's like a scientific or just state-of-the-art ghillie suit where they can cloak?
It could be. There again, we don't know. But I will say one thing. If they are aliens, from what people describe them, they're bodybuilder aliens.
Right.
But there again, we have that theory that wherever you see a Sasquatch, people have said we've seen either orbs or UFOs.
Or lights.
Or
Just
lights, yes,
yeah.
yeah. So, this subject ties directly into paranormal, extraterrestrial. It ties into so many things that cannot be answered. And as science says, without a body, there's no evidence.
Right. And even if they have a body, maybe they don't want to tell us. There's that theory that if the government has a lot of stuff that they have, but they don't want to tell us because it would just shake the whole world. It would change our beliefs,
It definitely would. It would bankrupt the church.
Right.
Let's put it that way. If this were true, and I'm going to say Squatches are true because, like, we've had our own experiences.
Right.
I'm like, you're not going to tell me they're not real.
Right.
But it would shift the cultural belief in our society.
Yes, it would.
It truly would.
It would change what everybody believes.
Now, on the Bigfoot group I belong to, a woman made a post today, and she said, I'm a Christian woman, and I believe they're flesh and blood. But she, to make a long story short, she believes that cryptids, aliens, they were all, they're a hindrance on our focus on God, is basically what she said. So she says, are they demonic? We don't know.
She's right. We don't know.
But she believes, and as a strong Christian would believe, yes, it takes a little bit of your focus off God. So, yes,
right. Now you were saying if they are aliens, they're bodybuilder aliens.
Hell yes.
But that's not a far-fetched theory if they're from another dimension or another universe, because they come down here. And humans in general, we're not very strong to begin with, but with technology, we've gotten weaker.
Right.
It's so to see somebody, maybe it's not super strength; it's just more than we're used to seeing.
Well, we become sedentary.
Yes.
We become
fat, dumb, and happy.
That's right. We are no longer the hunter-gatherers.
Right.
We have become sedentary. So yeah, we're not as fit as we used to be. We're not as strong as we used to be. Before we had to run just like a Squatch. We used to have to run with the stick and catch that deer.
Or run for our life.
That's right. So
and what put us ahead was our brain.
That's right.
In the development of tools and weapons. And now that we've established these cities, we've lost that too with technology. And I mean, like we've talked about this before, if we go off the grid, how many people could really survive?
Now, there you go, 90% of the population is doomed. They're going to fight amongst themselves for the breadcrumbs.
Right.
As to where the smart person is like, I'm headed out to the wilderness.
And I'm going to join a Squatch tribe. How about that?
That's right. Hey, as long as she's sexy and good, I'll do a Squatch.
Hey, I'll sacrifice. If she could feed me, I'm there.
There you go. Anyway, now on a lighter note, I was telling my brother, I've been reading these books, and one's Curing the Incurable Disease, and it talks about a scientist who, a couple scientists who use vitamin C to cure every virus that we know today. And I told him I was reading this book, but before I went to bed, that's the last book I was reading. I was reading the first book about the Sasquatch stories, and I told him I had the weirdest dream. In my dream, we caught Sasquatch because I was reading Sasquatch stories, and then we treated them with vitamin C.
I don't know what we treated them for. Maybe some Sasquatch VD or something.
I don't know. I was just like, we caught him, but I'm like, come here. We're going to give you high doses of vitamin C to cure you from your ugliness.
Well, maybe to some they're beautiful, but, to get back to their abilities, there's always that question, how come we've never found a carcass if they die? And if they have portals, maybe they take their dead back wherever they come from.
Well, the theory is, some people say the theory is they're like us and they bury their dead. And they're saying, well, why haven't we found any grave sites? Well, we don't go to these, we don't go out in the remote wilderness like they do. Yeah, we're not going to find them because we only go so far out because we have fear.
Right.
They have none. They could take their dead to a mountain base that's 30 miles away from where we camp, and we're not going to venture out there.
Right.
For one, we just fear it. We do.
And if we do, are you going to recognize a gravesite if it's not marked?
You're not. And it depends on climate, too.
Right.
You know, the body can decompose in certain climates quicker than others.
And the forest will reclaim a body quick. And that's the same argument because we never find bear carcasses.
Right. And okay, so let's say they just take them out and keep them out of our reach. Yeah, look at, just like any other carcass that's out in the woods, the critters take it.
Now, there was I want to say, I don't know if it was M.K. Davis. He's a famous Sasquatch guy. He reviews videos. He goes out. But I want to say one of these people were at an expo.
Right.
And somebody just walked up to him and handed him a huge fingernail. And he told him this is from a Sasquatch grave. I guess he pulled it off the hand. He gave it to him and he walked off. And that was the last he ever seen of him.
Yeah. Wow.
He showed pictures of it. It was big, but
I'm sure it was. But yeah, I mean, keep it, take a piece, and send it for analysis.
Right, but you know, as well as I do, the same thing that happens with hair or anything, any kind of analysis, if any kind of human DNA comes up in it, it's contaminated.
And that's a bullshit story on their end.
Right, because nobody wants to put their reputation on the line.
That's right, and that's all it comes down to. People are afraid to just tell you what it is, especially with this. So back to the paranormal on these creatures. Do they come from UFOs, as people suppose they do, and the theories go? Do they have capabilities to be multidimensional, as some people think? Do they utilize portals, as some people think? We don't know.
Well, you know, everyone has their theories on how, you know, there's different kinds of aliens.
Right.
The Sasquatch might be just another kind of alien.
It may be, but there again, we'll never know until we could definitively either get one in custody or kill one.
Now, you see these they call them the grays or whatever with the big eyes.
Right.
You know, they're... You see them, they don't look like much, and they use whatever technology they can when you hear of abductions.
Right.
But like Sasquatch, maybe a different kind of alien, where they got the power, maybe they don't need the technology. Maybe
they don't.
And I mean, you've heard as well as I do, all the people going missing. That's one possibility, Sasquatch.
It is, and we talked about that in the last episode, the big thicket.
Right.
And yeah, you know, people truly believe they go missing, and I'm going to say that if you come across, it's like anything else. If you invade my home, I have the right to kill you.
Right, exactly.
And I'm going to say with them, the premise holds.
Yeah.
If you truly invade their home and they feel you're a threat and you're not backing down, I believe they'll take your life.
Well, like where we go camping.
Right.
Now, I want to believe they're maybe somewhat habituated to us because we go out there all the time.
Right.
But every time we go out there, we hear something, right?
Right.
They let us know that they're there.
They let you know we're here, we're watching you.
Yes, exactly.
But on that note too, we've never shown them that we're a threat.
Right. Right. Exactly. We go to our spot. We don't venture far from it. We don't really encroach on their territory too much.
And we have also done what Native Americans have done for centuries. We've gifted them.
Right.
And for you that don't know what gifting is, we leave them a little portion of food or some type of nourishment that they could take. I don't leave them marbles or nothing because what's a marble going to do to them? A little. Last time we left them what? Chicken legs?
Yeah.
And we rolled up and they were gone.
And we actually found a print. It was half in the mud, half in the grass.
That's right.
I took a picture, but I lost it.
And so that may be why we do hear noises. They let us know they're there, but we've never encroached on their land.
Right.
We've never went out there with weapons and tried to track them.
Right. And the first time I went, I never had a weapon, and maybe that's why they came in so close.
Maybe, but this time they do know we have those boomsticks.
Yeah, but anyway, are they alien? Are they? Do they have capabilities that surpass what we know? I don't know.
See, that's what we were here to discuss tonight, and that's the question.
Now,
do they have supernatural powers?
Now, like we talked earlier, personally, I think they're flesh and blood animals that have been here just as long as us, but they've seen what man can do and they want to stay away. Now, there's people out there who swear up and down they're associated with the paranormal, the extraterrestrial, whatever.
Or they're demonic.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't believe that. I believe they are flesh and blood creatures. Has their DNA been manipulated? I'm going to agree on that because we're not as strong and big as they are. And
right.
Their speed, their agility, their keen sense in the forest. And people have said they've moved swiftly in the forest without sound. We can't do that.
Right. But that's something that's taught to them.
Right, from birth.
Right.
As to where we're clumsy. We no longer have those.
Well, we've lost the need for those abilities.
Right. So, because we've lost them, we put them in a different category.
Right.
And let's take it back to the native tribes who were truly hunter-gatherers before the white man came and introduced his ways. And yes, they lived in harmony with them because they had the same purpose.
Right. Yeah. To take what you need only.
Only.
That's
yes.
why they lived in harmony.
That's right.
Now, going back to like the DNA stuff, I have native friends they told me that they abduct women and they call them forest brides.
Right.
And they breed with the women, whatever. They keep them until the women die or whatever.
Right.
But MK Davis, he does, if you research, he has Facebook, YouTube, research his stuff. He does a lot of color restoration, like the black and white photos. And he came across a tribe, and these people were, some parts of them were a little hairier. They're normal, long hair.
Right.
But they had huge feet.
Right. Well, that takes it back to, I forgot, the Russian girl who was captive, who was a hairy girl.
Oh, what was her name?
What was her name?
Amanda? Was it Amanda? No.
Amanda? No. No,
yeah, but...
you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and she used to run around the village naked.
Right, and when she had her children, because some of the men used her as a sex slave,
yes,
she bathed her children in the cold stream water, and a couple of them died. So the village women, when she'd have a child, the village women would take them so that they wouldn't die.
Yes.
But I could see a true Squatch child who's full of hair, they would bathe them like that and they'd be all right.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
The mother would hold them close because she has heat. Once they dried, they're all right.
It'd be like any other creature in the wild.
That's exactly right. But back to the paranormal. I believe they're creatures of flesh and blood. Do I believe they have special powers? Yes. I believe they possess infrasound, like some of the creatures in the wild. For what reason? To paralyze you, so that they could either move on or attack.
Yes.
Are they extraterrestrial? Don't
debatable.
know.
Yeah.
That's debatable.
Real quick, you mentioned that infrasound. When we had our first encounter, that was the scariest I've been in my life.
Right.
Now, I didn't know what was going on at the time. I didn't know if I could feel anything. I was just scared. My whole body was shaking.
Right.
So, I'm going to have to say yes on the infrasound.
And I do believe they have it because listen to the story of so many hunters that said, I had my pistol, my rifle right there. I was looking at him, but I was frozen.
Yes.
I couldn't even draw my weapon.
Yes. Now,
that's infrasound.
Is that now that most apex predators have that?
Most. No. There's only a handful of predators on this earth.
The big cats have it.
The big cats, elephants, and a few others. That's it.
Okay.
The rest of the population on the earth, humans, animals.
Do hippos have it?
No.
Wow, that's strange because they're you'd think something that big would have it.
And they say elephants have it because they let the prey know with the infrasound that we're here, we're coming through.
Yeah.
And they get it, and it makes them nausea, whatever. It chases them away.
Yeah.
And that's why elephants have survived. Because if you look at an elephant, you're like, what's this big kluk do other than charge me or lay on me? If you're smart about it, you could run circles around an elephant.
We couldn't, but like a big cat could.
Right. And while the big cats hold it too.
Yeah.
So it is interesting, but our question is, we've talked about it, we've studied it, do they have paranormal capabilities?
What do you think?
My final thought on that, Vince, is I think they do. Because if they didn't, we'd not only be able to track and hunt down, we'd be able to capture one.
Right.
But we can't get close to them. As soon as we see them, or we try and get close to them,
they're gone like smoke.
They're gone, and they vanish into thin air.
Yes. Now, I believe they're flesh and blood creatures. I'm not sold on their abilities. I'm sure they have some abilities like the infrasound, but as far as portals and stuff like that, aliens, I'm not sold on that quite yet, but I don't know. But I do believe they're flesh and blood creatures. I just believe that they have this athletic ability that lets them escape. And, when you see them, they're going to scare the shit out of you. And you might even blank out for a minute, and then they're gone.
That's right. So we'll leave it at that as a final word. It's going to be your decision on your research. Do they possess supernatural powers or not? And if you've had an experience and you think they have supernatural powers, here's how you can get in touch with us. You could email us at latenightwithlarry55@gmail.com, one word, and we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, weigh in. What are your thoughts? Inquiring minds want to know.
That's right. Anyway, thanks for listening tonight. Join us next time.
Peace out. Be good humans.
Yeah.